Hello yogis, namaste. My name is Yeli Staley and I am a bilingual vinyasa, yoga and meditation teacher. I teach in English and Spanish, which is my native language. And today I'm making this video about exercises or massages that we can do to help alleviate any tension that we might feel on the IT band. I was sharing the other day on my Instagram feed that some of the exercises I do with the foam roller, and many of you express lots of interest about the topic, and I was just sharing because from my personal experience I've been dealing with some issues with my knees since I was a teenager, and no doctor was able to figure it out. Many doctors mentioned that probably was because I was in the growing process, and maybe when I finished growing the pain will go away. However, pain did not go away, and I wanted to avoid surgery. Back in the time I was a teenager, I think it's too soon to have any type of surgery on your knee. So it wasn't until I visited a chiropractor, whether you believe or not, on chiropractor is a personal choice, but I went to a chiropractor and I mentioned my discomfort on the knees, and he went and mentioned exactly what it was. It was my IT band was too tight that externally pulled my patella, which is that thing on your knee, and that created the discomfort for me to be able to do any type of physical activities. So I have to, in my case, I needed to strengthen the inner thighs. I was putting too much weight on the outside of my feet, which created tension on the outer edges of my leg, on my hips, and that creates that was for me. Everyone is different, but if this sounds similar to what you might be dealing with, I really hope this video you find it useful. I just wanted to say it out there. I'm not an expert on IT band, I'm not a doctor, but I have basic understanding of anatomy under my 500 hours of yoga training. And I'm just gonna give you a really quick review of what the IT band is. It's the iliotibial. It's a band that runs from the ilium, from the top of the pelvis all the way to the outside of your legs, and it ends here in the tibia with your shin bones or the knee. So the iliotibial, or the IT band, the whole purpose of it is to stabilize your hips and connect the hips with your knee. Okay, so in order to minimize the discomfort that we might feel on the IT band, we have to start to strengthening and releasing any tension that we might feel with the muscles that surrounds this area, right? Another important and very unique factor of the IT band is that the IT band is not a muscle and it's not a joint. It's sort of a very tough, almost like a tendon tissue that is really hard to stretch, because it's really hard to stretch. It has little flow of blood, so it doesn't repair when it is unbalanced like the muscles will do, or like a joint will do. So because of that, we have to work on the muscles around the area, okay? So we need to strengthen and stretch whatever we feel tight. So the gluteus medius, all the group muscles on your glutes, we need to either strengthen or stretch them, whatever the person's situation might be. We can also work on the quads, the hamstrings, the hip flexors, the rotators of the hips, hip rotators. All of that area is very important to start to develop certain awareness, so you know exactly what part of the body gets tense. In my case, my outer hips gets tight, my glutes gets tight. I've learned how to stabilize my pelvis, so sometimes I'm engaged too much my glutes and I actually get tight, and then that pulls the IT band and pulls the knee, and it feels the whole cascade down of discomfort. So I'm going to show you quickly a few massages that depends on your taste and your condition, and then I'm going to show you maybe 5 to 6 different yoga poses, especially in the yin side of the yoga poses. If you're not familiar with yin are It's a style of yoga where you hold the poses for between 2 to 5 minutes with the whole intention to get deeper into the joints, deeper into the tendons, to release that tension. So we stay there long enough to relax the muscles so we can get deeper into it, okay? So let me show you here what I will have to, I'll usually use, and it's something that I have invested for myself. So we have these, it's called therapy balls or medicine balls, really hard, and these are great for deep tissue massage. I also have a long strap, a block, and last but not least, the foam roller. There are some views that the foam roller is actually not good to stretch your IT band because the IT band holds a lot of nerve. So if you roll and you feel extremely painful, some might think that that's not helpful because you are actually aggravating the situation of the inflammation. So I want you to be careful of foam rolling and just really pay attention of how much of a good relief you feel or how much is it making it worse. My case, there are some days I cannot even do the foam roller of how much tight. If I do the foam roller, it's just gonna make things worse. So this is where I come into the balls or even a simple stretch with my strap. So this is all different tools to help you adjust to your level of discomfort. I don't want to take any more of your time, so let's go ahead and start with how do you use the therapy balls. I'm gonna work on my left side. So I'm gonna place the therapy balls on the outside of my left thigh. Try to get deeper into the IT band. So remember I mentioned the IT band comes from the outer hips all the way into the knee. And we're gonna come into our forearms, shoulders above your elbows, and you're going to place that ball right where the beginning, oh, and I really feel it, in the beginning of your hips. And you're literally gonna stay here. You're gonna just let your body weight drop into it. And you're just gonna breathe. This is a not feel so good stretch or massage, I should say. It's a pressure point to alleviate tension. You can slowly walk that ball until you go all the way into the knees. You're working on different aspects of the outer thighs. Really, I feel this. I haven't done my stretches today and I really feel it. So this is one way to do this exercise or massage. Remember I tell you that another way to do is to strengthening or releasing tension on the muscles surrounding the IT band, including the glutes. So a good way to use this is to come into half pigeon, seated half pigeon. So you're gonna place the medicine ball or the therapy ball right in the center of your glute. So you can might as well stay here with your knees bent, relaxing the shoulders, engaging the core, and squeezing the inner thighs and just literally sitting and feeling your body weight, getting deeper into the ball as the ball works on its magic in softening any tension in the muscle. Half pigeon, you bring opposite foot on top of the opposite thigh and you slowly roll in small, tiny circles to get a little bit more of different areas of your glutes. And your glutes is not just your big, obvious muscle. It also goes almost into the lower back, connecting your outer hips. So that will be your minimum or medium gluteus, okay? So that's one way to do it. The other option, guys, to use is a strap. And for the strap, pretty much we're gonna come into cross-legged. So I'm gonna use now my right side to stretch. You're gonna land on your back. And if you have any blanket like I have here, you can rest your neck on it. You're gonna extend the leg, place your straps on the arch of your foot. You're gonna engage the core, so drop the navel in and back into your mat so your lower back is flat on the ground. You're gonna relax the shoulder, relax your hands. Don't grab that strap so tight. I want you to feel relaxed on your upper body. And then slowly you're going to stabilize your right hand, bring it into the right hip crease. Push the femur away from the thigh and push the femur away from the hip, I meant to say. Flex that foot and then cross over nice and slow without lifting your right hip. Keep the right hip anchor. You can here press the toes south, so internally rotating the thigh as you press that leg a little bit more out to the side. Anchor your shoulders and just go as deep as you feel the stretch and stay in here, pressing through the heel so that leg is fully active. This is how I use the strap for stretching my outer hips when they are tight. Last but not least, we have the block. I come into this version of Prasarita Padottanasana, where you come into one leg in front of the other. You're gonna lean halfway forward. You can place your hands on a block. The idea here is not to see how deep you can forward fold in here. The idea is to then walk your hands to the opposite side of where the back leg is. So as I have my right foot in front of the left, squeezing my inner thighs, I'm walking myself towards the right and then pressing my hips into the left so I feel that stretch of the outer thigh or hips. And then if you want to walk and give yourself a full circle, you can do opposite side now. You have the left leg on top of your right. So again, it looks something like this. Okay. And then you walk to the opposite side as you press your hips into the opposite direction, anchoring all your body weight in your feet and your toes. So that's another way to stretch it. And of course, all these stretches I've been sharing with you, you gotta stay there for at least 3 to 5 full minutes in order to allow the body to come into full relaxation. The foam roller. The foam roller, it's sometimes my last resort. Like I mentioned, for me, sometimes does not work because it's too painful. And like I mentioned, the IT band, we have a lot of nerve in there. The last thing I want to do is inflame the situation, already inflame, and just be mindful whether the roller works or not for you. If you're coming into the roller, we want to roll onto the left side here. I'm going to extend almost like a side plank, like we do in yoga. Tripod side plank. So use this right foot to really lift the hips to stabilize here. And then you're going to place the roller starting from the hip. That's where the IT band begins. It's from the ilion here, is the bony structure of your outer hip. You're going to roll back and forth nice and slow. Putting some weight into it. You're going to feel it. And then you're going to start slowly bringing the roller, just like we did with the therapy balls. But now the roller is going to start rolling onto the outside until you find the knee. And you can even bring the roller into the knee section and kind of massage it in here. So if 5 is the worst pain that you could possibly feel, as I'm doing this, I'm feeling a 4.5. So for me today, the roller, it's out of the question. You can also use the roller to stretch stretch is not the right word, to release tension for your glutes. Similar to the medicine ball, you come here, you come into cross, halfway pigeon, and then you lean into the right glute in here. You're gonna lean and then you roll back and forth a couple times just to feel that massage to help you release accumulated tension in that area of your body. So this is what I will use, my props. Let's put this back in here, to just help me to find a little bit of less tension on my outer thigh. Now, the yoga poses that I use the most when it comes to releasing tension is pigeon. Pigeon is my one favorite pose. So you are gonna come into your pigeon pose. And I'm not gonna explain in detail how to get into these poses. I have other videos for that. I'm going to assume that you are familiar with the poses already. So you're coming into pigeon. You can stay high in your pigeon. Try not to sit on the hip. Try to lift it and feel that stretch. Of course, the more you walk that heel away from the groin, is going to feel more the stretch on the outer hip. Okay, you can come into your forearms and just kind of breathing and letting it be. What I like about this type of pigeon, it also gets a nice stretch on the outer edges of your foot, of your knee, but make sure you're flexing your foot when you're trying that. Another pose, very important to that muscle groups that affects the IT band, is coming into low lunge, Anjaneyasana. For here, we're going to now be stretching any tension you might feel on the TFL, the tension fascia lata, which is a hip flexor right here at the base of your hips. So by leaning and rocking your pelvis forward, engaging the core, you're going to feel that deep stretch in here. So that's another pose that helps a lot with releasing tension accumulated here. Another pose, guys, that is going to help us to release tension if you want to work both at the same time. You can grab a blanket or a block, sit on it. If you feel that your lower back and your hips are tight, you're going to lean forward and find the double pigeon. So you're going to cross and bring heel to knee and knee to heel, and you're going to lean forward. As you can see right here, I am absolutely tight today. You can grab a block, place it in between. The idea is to keep both feet flexed, shin bones parallel towards each other, lengthening the spine and leaning forward. This one, it's another one that if you feel that IT band issues are affecting your performance in life, this pose right now is the one that you should do every day. And then go into the opposite side. So we have done pigeon, double pigeon, and now we did low lunges. And now I want to show you Gomukhasana. Same thing, you can be seated on a blanket. Gomukhasana, the difference is you're gonna bring that knee a little bit more towards the center, walking the foot outside your hips. And you're gonna figure out a way there to squeeze the inner thighs, anchor both hips in here, and try to keep the knees on top of each other. Same thing, if the knees are not there together, you can place a block. So this is Gomukhasana, both sides, and that's gonna really help to stretch again the outer hips. You can come into pigeon on your back. It's a modified version of the pigeon that I just did. You come into your back, flatten your lower back, bend and rest opposite heel on the top of the thigh. And then bring that knee into the chest as you press with the opposite hand, opposite knee to the front of the room. And be mindful of the hips, stabilize here the hips. Sometimes the heels move along. It's a way to body compensate that deep stretch. So I want you to be mindful when doing the pigeon on your back. And last, what I want to share with you, it's a way for us to strengthen. We've been doing a lot of stretching. Now we want to strengthen those outer hips. We're going to strengthen those glutes. And there are two exercises that I found really helpful and not very fun to do, which means we have to do it more often. You're going to come into your side, plant the feet on top of each other, and make sure the hips are equal here. As you come into your forearms, make sure shoulders on their hips, and then you're gonna slowly hover that right leg and just gonna hold it in there. You're gonna hold this for maybe 10 breaths, softening, breathing. This is gonna strengthen your outer hip muscles. Another way to do here is you're gonna come all the way into your forearms, resting your head on your hand, keeping the elbow aligned with the shoulder. You're gonna hover that right leg and you're gonna bring it forward without moving your hips. You're gonna tap the floor and then you're gonna come back to center. Same thing going forward, tap the floor, up and center. You have to do this movement very slowly without compromising the alignment. You gotta really engage the core, keep the breath flowing, and keep the hips stacked on top of each other. And I'm already feeling a little bit of fire in here. So these are great exercises that will help you to strengthen your outer glutes and your outer hips. So thank you so very much for just watching this tutorial on how to eliminate tension on your IT band area, how to strengthen some of the muscles, some of the massages, some of the exercises, some of the yoga poses. If you're doing any of these yoga poses, stay there for, I would say, full 5 minutes. And so if you have some time before bedtime or as soon as you wake up in the morning, just do a pigeon for 5 minutes on each side, and it will make a big difference in your life in that day. So thank you so much again for watching. Let me know if you have any question or any comments. Feel free to comment here in my video below. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Instagram or Facebook. I really hope this helps you, and if you have any suggestions for my next tutorial, as always, I'm open to suggestions. Thank you so much. Wish you all a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.